In this video, we're going to talk about some pretty interesting stuff coming out of the Real Housewives of New Jersey world, specifically about Dolores Catania and Teresa Giudice. You know, their friendship goes way back.
Decades, right. So what's the latest there?
Well, Dolores has been talking about what she sees as the toughest time in their friendship, and also, interestingly, about who she thinks Teresa actually listens to.
Okay.
And we also have some thoughts from another cast member, Jackie Goldschneider, that kind of adds another layer to maybe some friction in the group.
Gotcha. So where did Dolores talk about this?
It was actually on Gia Giudice's podcast. Dolores said that the past couple of years were actually the hardest point for her and Teresa.
Did she say why?
Yeah, she talked about how she initially, really tried to support Teresa in her relationship with Louis. Her vibe was, let them be. Teresa's been through a lot. She can handle this. Kind of a hands-off, supportive friend approach.
Which seems like a reasonable starting point, given everything. But you said it got harder.
Well, yeah. Dolores mentioned that Teresa then started to feel like people weren't doing enough.
Okay.
And Dolores' response was pretty practical. She said, there was only so much you could do. And this sort of leads into maybe the most telling thing Dolores said.
Okay, what was that?
She observed that Teresa gets a lot of background chatter from people.
Okay. That's not surprising in that environment, I guess.
But here's the kicker. She said, Teresa doesn't always listen to the right people.
Ooh.
It really makes you wonder who those voices are and how they might be shaping Teresa's perspective. And it feels connected to another point of tension that came up, this whole business with storyline leaks and off-camera stuff.
Ah, yes. That was messy. There were accusations flying around, weren't there?
Involving Teresa and Jennifer Aydin, apparently, about leaks during filming.
Right. And didn't Margaret Josephs also get pulled into that sort of thing?
Yeah, the story was that Margaret was talking to Louis's ex off-camera, maybe trying to get information. And Dolores actually weighed in on this, too. She said she was telling people privately, like, you guys are going overboard.
Oh, really? So she was trying to mediate.
Seems like it. She said she told them, things are getting out of control. Why speak to a blogger? Why speak to an ex off-camera?
Good for her for saying something, I guess.
And Jackie Goldschneider had some thoughts on this, too.
Okay. What did Jackie add to the mix?
She was on a different podcast and talk about a disconnect she saw in the group. She suggested that Margaret, for instance, might have started to feel like she could kind of do the show without Teresa.
Interesting. Like she didn't need that core alliance anymore.
Maybe. Jackie literally said it became less of a friend group and more of a competition show where if I get enough people onto my side, I'll win.
Wow.
She felt that whole competitive mindset really contributed to the disconnect last season.
I can see how it would. It changes the stakes, the motivations, everything.
And Jackie actually connected this back to loyalty, which ties into what Dolores was experiencing with Teresa.
How so?
Jackie talked about feeling like a certain level of loyalty was expected of her, maybe implying from Teresa's side.
Okay.
But she pushed back on that idea. She said, friendships should be easy. They should contribute joy and ease and comfort.
Makes sense.
They shouldn't be you having to answer for everything and have blind loyalty. It shouldn't be like that.
It sounds like she felt the expectation went too far.
Yeah, and you can see how that resonates with Dolores maybe feeling caught between supporting Teresa and, well, having her own boundaries or perspective.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to miss out on reality TV news, be sure to subscribe to Realty TV and hit the bell icon.
There's been some news about Paul P.K. Kemsley. Apparently posting something on Instagram seemingly aimed at Dorit Kemsley.
Right, yeah. It was reportedly up and then taken down pretty fast. Sounded like it was suggesting someone was playing the victim.
And this was right after she filed for divorce.
Exactly. And, the timing is even more pointed because it happened almost right after those pictures came out.
The ones of him and Shana Wall.
Yeah, the ones where they looked, well, very close. A pretty public makeout session, basically.
And then, around the same time, we saw Dorit out without her wedding ring.
Dropping the kids off at dance class, I think.
So on the formal side of things, Dorit has moved forward legally.
She has. She's retained Samantha Spector, who is, a very well-known divorce attorney. And the divorce papers have been filed in Los Angeles County. It's official.
Now, all of this is happening, but reports also mentioned they've been separated for about a year.
Yeah, while the filing is recent, the actual split seems to have happened quite some time ago. About a year seems to be the consensus.
So the divorce is just formalizing that separation, legally speaking?
Yes. But these recent events, like PK's alleged post and his very public appearance with someone else, that adds complexity.
How so? Could that affect the divorce outcome?
It could, potentially. While California is a no-fault divorce state, meaning you don't need to prove wrongdoing to get divorce conduct, can sometimes be considered in certain aspects, maybe around custody or potentially even financial matters if, say, marital funds were spent inappropriately. But it's complex. Mostly, it just makes things messier, especially publicly.
And Dorit stepping out without the ring, hiring the lawyer, filing. These are clear signals from her side.
Absolutely. Very deliberate actions. Taking off the ring is symbolic, obviously. Hiring Spector and filing for full custody and support. Those are strong legal statements about what she wants moving forward.
The request for full custody is interesting too, not joint.
Requesting full physical and legal custody is a significant ask. It often suggests there might be concerns about co-parenting effectively, or perhaps the other parent's stability or lifestyle, but that's just the request. The court will ultimately decide based on the children's best interests.
Right. Let's dive into the Vanderpump Rules world. Lala Kent. She's spoken out about Zack Wickham from the Valley.
Right. He apparently made some low-level comments, she called them.
Yeah, about her and Scheana appearing on the Valley. And it seems like Zack's been critical on social media.
But friendly to her face.
Exactly. That's what Lala said on her podcast, Give 'em Lala.
Okay, so classic two-faced situation, potentially.
Seems like it. She mentioned running into him at an event and, feeling she needed to avoid him because of this, well, she called it unexplained animosity.
Did she say what he said specifically?
She referenced comments on little mini Bravo accounts and, shade about her appearance on the Valley back in March.
Gotcha. So online jabs.
Yeah. And Lala basically just admitted she's confused by it all. She said she doesn't understand the beef.
Well, it does sound confusing if he's nice in person.
Is he maybe trying to stir things up online for attention?
Could be. It's that whole complex web of, reality TV relationships and trying to stay relevant.
I like that Brit is honest. I feel like Brit stands in her truth. That is quintessential when it comes to a real housewife, okay?
Okay, next update we have about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha Williams.
Ah, yes. Porsha's back and already stirring the pot, or rather, reacting to the pot being stirred.
Right. She's apparently facing some heat from fans about her opinions on the newbie, Brit Eady.
This is after all that drama Brit had with Kenya Moore and Drew Sidora, questioning her past.
Exactly. So Porsha went on her YouTube channel, praised Brit for being honest, for standing in her truth.
She called that quintessential for a housewife who lasts.
And she also seemed to kind of call out Drew for holding Brit accountable.
Okay, so defending the newbie. But fans didn't like it.
Apparently not. Some felt Porsha's take was, unwanted, and they just disagreed with her positive view of Brit. And the drama in Atlanta, wow, it doesn't stop there. Angela's claiming Porsha threatened to sleep with her husband, Charles.
Whoa, okay, seriously.
Yeah, apparently after Porsha had been drinking. And this all unfolded after Angela invited Drew to the trip, which Porsha clearly wasn't happy about.
So layers of tension already built in.
For sure. The recap also mentioned Shamea opening up about her abusive first marriage, which is heavy stuff.
Wow, yeah. Amidst all the other drama.
And then there was this tense dinner where Porsha just gave Drew the cold shoulder. Total freeze out.
Yikes.
The conflict apparently escalated when Angela started questioning Porsha about her past relationship. Things got heated.
Understandable, probably.
And Porsha ended up telling Angela to kiss her A. And then Angela apparently secretly recorded the other women.
Oh, no.
And she confronted Porsha about allegedly saying she would fuck Charles.
Man. And the confessionals hinted at rumors about Charles, too.
Yeah, that was mentioned. It's just a lot.
It shows how quickly things can spiral in that environment. You've got old issues, new conflicts, personal vulnerability like Shamea's story, and then these huge accusations.
And the secret recording just adds another layer of, mistrust.
Definitely. Makes you question the boundaries. A real pressure cooker.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a bit to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
All right. Little less shouting, maybe.
Hopefully. This is about Bozoma St. John and her relationship with Keely Watson. She shared a pretty significant update.
Oh, yeah, because some fans were questioning if it was, real.
Exactly. But Bozoma revealed on an after-show episode that they're now saying, I love you frequently.
Oh, wow. That's a big step.
Yeah, she even called Dorit to tell her when Keely first said it, which is sweet.
Oh, good for them.
And interestingly, Bozoma and Dorit also talked about Sutton Stracke's earlier comments about Keely being a red flag.
Right. Sutton's instincts.
Both Bozoma and Dorit basically dismissed Sutton's take on it. Dorit even said Sutton has a lot of opinions about everybody's personal business.
Well, it's interesting how even good news, like a relationship milestone, still gets tangled up in the show's drama, right?
Totally. The fact they discussed Sutton's skepticism shows how interconnected everything is. Past comments always linger.
Yeah, and the pressure to have your relationship validated, or at least not questioned, in the public eye must be immense.
No kidding. Okay, finally, let's talk about that resurfaced Cameo video.
Right, the Jax Taylor one from, 2 years ago, during peak Scandival.
Yeah, and he was making some really strong accusations against Tom Sandoval.
What was he saying? I vaguely remember it blowing up.
He called Tom a little boy, said he needed to go to rehab and reevaluate his life. Really harsh stuff.
Wow.
He criticized Tom's lack of empathy, how he treated Tom Schwartz, usual Scandival points.
But didn't the person requesting the cameo ask about someone else?
That's the interesting part. They only asked Jax to talk about James Kennedy.
And he just pivoted to Sandoval.
Yep. He admitted he liked James more recently, and then just launched into the Sandoval critique, emphasizing Tom's failure to take responsibility.
Huh.
And Jax, well, maybe wanted to stay in the conversation too.
Probably doesn't hurt, from his perspective. And if you don't want to miss out on reality TV news, be sure to subscribe to Real TTV and hit the bell icon.
Well, thank you for watching this video. See you tomorrow.